Alright, changing the starter motor on a BA Falcon. The same process applies to BA and BF, and I'm sure the same process will apply to the FG model as well, because the engines are very similar. It's just a little bit of difference. Now the starter motor is located, you can see the back of the starter motor just down there. Can you see? I'm sure you would be able to see it. It's just down there where my finger is pointing. So the easiest way to get to it is from the bottom, and it's gonna be a fun job because the starter motor is sitting just above the oil cooler, transmission oil cooler, and there's hardly any room to work. There's no room to work from the top. You can't work on it from the top. Have to be from underneath, but even then the area is very tight, and it's gonna be fun. This is the starter motor that we need to change. As I was pointing out from the top, it's just on top of the oil cooler. This is a transmission oil cooler, and it's just sitting on top of the transmission oil cooler. It's got two bolts, one at the top, one at the bottom. In order to get to this, you're gonna need to firstly disconnect the battery for safety reasons. You're gonna need to disconnect all these cables from the back of the starter motor anyway, and then you're gonna need a long extension and a ratchet handle, and I believe it's a number 12mm socket that you're gonna need. One on the top, one at the bottom. Now you can't get to it directly from here, so that's when the extension comes handy. If you've got a long extension, you can always go around the main frame, whatever you want to call this. Anyway, you go around it and you can basically have plenty of room to maneuver and open or move the handle around. I'll update you as we go further. Alright, starter motor is out. Now I went through a little bit of trouble getting to it. As I mentioned, there was two screws that was holding it. One is right up there where the spanner is, or the extension is. The other one is just on here, which is a lot easier to get, so you can get this one without any problem, but leave this one for last. You gotta get that one first, the top one. Now the way that I did it is 10mm socket with a long extension, so that long. Anyway, it's a very tight spot here. Went from behind, as you can see my hand basically coming up. Now you've got one of these supports here. You've got a support here. Now you make sure the extension goes behind that support. Hold on a second. Behind that support, and you reach across with one hand maneuvering the extension, and with the other hand you basically align it up. As soon as you got it in place, connect the handle at the back of it, break and break the seal of that bolt. As soon as the seal is broken, it just comes out easily, no problem. And then the bottom one, and I remove the starter motor. Easy as that. But I had to go through a bit of trial before I could actually work out exactly how to reach that bolt from this side. And of course you've got a positive connection and you've got a negative connection, which are connected to the back of the negative connection. Is just a plug here. It just basically plugs on, but the positive connection has got 13mm socket that you need to disconnect this. So 13 mil, all you need is for changing that starter motor is a 13 mil socket and a 10 mil socket, an extension and a handle, and that's all you need. And obviously a jack and a stand. You make sure the car is on the stand for safety purposes, obviously. And yeah, I'll do a bit of more recording when I come out with the starter motor. Now this is how the starter motor is sitting when it's in the engine, basically in the engine bay. And that's a 13 mil to disconnect the positive, and the negative is just connected to that plug there. So all you got to do is pull it out and it comes off. Now that's your top bolt and that's your bottom bolt. The bottom bolt is very easy to get to, it's not a problem, it's still a 10 mil. But with the top bolt, as I was pointing out before, the 10 mil extension, the 10 mil spanner with a long extension has to come from behind that support, connect it, and obviously with a handle at the end of it, and you just break the seal. As soon as the seal is broken, it's very easy to come out. Yeah, you just keep turning until it comes out. Make sure you don't drop it on your head or in your eyes. Glasses are something that you must wear when doing any sort of work under the engine. And then the second one, as soon as you remove it, watch out for this. The way that it comes out is you basically pull it out of its housing, turn it upside down, push it up so you can have enough room at the bottom. The bottom first, it just slides out. You just have to maneuver it a little bit here and there, but yeah, there's plenty of room for it to come out anyway. And once this is out, reverse the process in installing it. Once you've done all the installation, make sure your positive is connected and it's secured, and your negative is connected and secured before you connect the battery. Reconnecting the battery would have to be the last step. I hope this helps.